Good afternoon, hello, welcome to the TriathlonDan YouTube channel. Welcome to a video all about heat prep. And I've been copping a bit of flack recently. Proper heat prep, apparently. Getting indoors, getting hot. No, I don't have a sauna or a tumble dry running, but I'm going to get quite warm in this session. So Monday evening, I'm looking outside because the weather was looking absolutely brilliant, but it is now looking pretty stormy. It's blowing a gale and it looks like it's going to absolutely tinkle it down. So I'm in the garage, but I had planned to be here anyway. Now I have done some heat prep sessions in the last couple of weeks. I'm training for Challenge Roth in less than 2 weeks, but those have involved me just putting a jacket on or me perhaps training in the sunshine, those sorts of things. Not actually looking at the data, seeing how much I'm sweating, seeing how much fluids I'm drinking and tracking my heart rate versus power, those sorts of things. They're all very difficult to do outside, whereas indoors and on Zwift, they are quite easy to track. So the plan is today, I've got changed in my cycling kit. I'm going to stand on some scales and weigh myself. I'm then going to going to pedal my bike for, I don't know, an hour or two, as long as I can stomach. I'm going to allow myself to have the fan on because when I'm riding outdoors in the heat, I will have air going through me, but I have put a base layer on so that I haven't got that cool air directly on my skin. And to save your eyes on this channel, I have my Garmin out in front of me that's just gone off, but it was showing 27.7 degrees Celsius, and obviously that will get a little bit warmer as I start warming this room up. I do have the door open to the garden, but it's pretty much the same temperature outside. And that's the plan. I'm going to ride at roughly Ironman intensity, so the pace I'll be hoping to hold on race day, so around 220 watts-ish, I think, something like that. I'll probably do a mixture of in TT position and mixture of sat up, because again, that's what will happen on race day. I'm also going to track how much I'm drinking. I have 2 bottles in here, and I'm hoping don't need any more than that, because that's what I've got in here. I'll have to send an emergency message to Liz, my other half. Anyway, let's weigh in. Okay, weigh-in done at 92.8 kilos, 3 kilos heavier than this morning. That's probably about right with the food and drink I bet, and I haven't exercised today. I've just brought the scales back in. I'd love to leave them in the same place, but it's going to absolutely wise it down. Let's get on the bike. 28 degrees Celsius. It's been a few weeks since I've ridden this for obvious reasons. The weather's really good in the UK, so let's go. I'm going to allow myself the comforts of a headband and towels just to mop up my sweat, but I'm hoping that I'm going to get fairly warm within the next few minutes, so I'll get pedaling. I'll check in with you later on. Right, I'm not gonna plead poverty, but you know, doing this and doing this, it's pretty difficult sometimes. So today I'd hoped to do a longer session, talk about the effects of heat and all that blah blah blah. I've done an hour. My legs are potatoed. I'm feeling very tired today, and I think that I've shown in the results, but I'm just gonna take my base layer off because I feel like this is really wet and like that will maintain a lot of weight. My bibs are wet, but they're not as thick, so I feel like that will even out. Like I had a dry base layer, I want to weigh myself. Maybe I should have been like naked to naked, but I don't think I can do that on YouTube. I'm gonna lose this, weigh in, and then we'll talk some numbers because it is pretty interesting. I'm not even whiter under this light. So that was 91.7. I can't remember what my first weigh-in was. Was it 92.7? If so, a kilo lost. That is, like, I feel okay to have done this today, but I've drank maybe, what, 350 mils, 400 mils? And to have lost a kilo in weight in water, that's not ideal. That's okay for this session, but if I'm doing, 4 or 5 of those hours on the bike, that then becomes a problem. It becomes a problem on the run as well. Now, Training Peaks does also give you a statistic, which is power to heart rate, which is also referred to as aerobic decoupling, and that basically means, okay, you're doing this power now, but in an hour, if you're doing the same power, what's your heart rate doing then? Has it drifted, and are you working harder for the same power? Is this straight? No. And Training Peaks works out a percentage and gives you like an average of how much your heart rate has drifted. And in that session, my heart rate drifted 3.21%. That's not a huge amount. I've had sessions where it's drifted a lot more than that. And drifting is normal. You're going to become more fatigued as you go through sessions, especially when heat is a factor. It averaged about 28.5 degrees. I didn't feel like I was getting too hot. I think the breeze was pretty much on my face. So psychologically, I felt like I was dealing with the heat okay, but clearly my body wasn't to have lost a kilo in fluid. Now the actual numbers, I averaged 212 watts and 113 beats a minute. That's a pretty low heart rate for me, and that immediately showed me that I'm very tired. I'm coming off of a weekend of training. I did a big brick session Saturday, and I did 4 hours and 40 in the heat on the bike yesterday at a decent output. So I'm going to be fatigued today. Maybe it's not the best day to do this sort of test because I'm not going to be this fatigued going into Roth, but I can only do what I can do with the days I've got. So that's the information I found out today. Have I found out anything I don't already know? Not really. You need to drink a lot when it's hot. What else have I found out? I feel like I'm dealing with it better than I thought I would deal with it psychologically, but physically that still remains a factor. So I almost need to convince myself that I'm not dealing with it well so that I do fuel appropriately for the conditions. It's actually forecast rain in Roth at the minute on race day, so that'll be a turn up for the books, but that means that it'll just be more humid because it's still going to be pretty hot. Anyway, that is it for today's training. I don't know as if this qualifies for a Road to Roth series video. It might just be a training video, but maybe I roll the outro. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button down below. Got about 8 or 9 days now till we head off to Germany. So excited. Thank you very much for the support. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.